Alright guys, thought I'd do an update on the channel. Um, I was going to park this channel and basically just call it a day some time ago, but the channel sort of evolved over time from originally it was about the Philippines, moving to the Philippines, seeing there's another way of living, because it all started when I was in the UK and I could see some of these guys in these little bed sits and stuff where they were basically living like machines. You know, court case. Oh, you pay for your ex-wife, kids, whatever. They all have the nice house. You're just there as a worker. We'll give you a crappy little place that's overpriced. You'll never be able to buy another house. You're punished for the failure of your marriage, which probably isn't really your fault, but you've got to be stuck in a rut for the rest of your life. You're imprisoned. And I've seen these guys, and I just thought, why are you doing it? Why are you letting society destroy you? Because it's convenient for the government to keep you on a leash. That your ex-partner, that with no intention of ever working in her life, has become your burden for the rest of your life. Isn't it bad enough that she gets half your pension that when you eventually retire? No, let's really raid the kitty. But we'll give you some crappy little hole while she retains the house, etc. So that's where a lot of this stuff come from, because it was to see there's other options out there. And the funny thing is, when you go there, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's a change. It brings you back to being based. That you can reset things. You're not controlled. You're not owned. Your biggest fear is yourself. You will prevent yourself from doing things simply because the fear of change. And that's where it started. Then we moved on to business in the Philippines, surviving there, etc. Then on to moving to Spain, life in Spain, and then that spurred the Alicante channel as well. And then we got into the MGTOW stuff, and then we got into personal development. And then I started looking and thinking, there's not much else to talk about too much. I've got to admit, I do need to write some books, and I have started writing a few, but I keep getting dragged into work stuff, which then puts me off on a tangent, because I really need to sort of lock myself away for a year and just simply write. But one of the things that comes out of the channel, because you know, it's quite funny when you see some people troll sometimes where they think it's all about money. There is no money in this. I don't make money out of this. I don't even take the revenue off the YouTube. That funds stuff in the Philippines. So, you know, it keeps the houses renovated. It keeps things moving there. But I don't take any cash out of the Philippines anymore. Don't need to. But I look at things from a political landscape at the minute, and that's the bit that's griping me a little bit, because I'm seeing how everything's becoming very peculiar in the landscape. I'm finding the the window of truth is becoming more narrow on a constant basis. There's a drive to split. So it's far left or far right, all liberal, all this pro nonsense. And then at the same time, if you're speaking out against it, you're obviously far right or whatever. It's a particular problem because the majority of people sit in the middle. But you're finding that things are actually starting affecting people in the middle, predominantly from one side, the left. It's leaking in everywhere. Now, I'm doing a degree at the minute, and I've got to admit, it baffles me the crap that's in there. So This is supposed to be leadership and management. First thing I was given was, oh, you study black history. I couldn't care less. I'm not interested. It's false. The stuff that is predominantly pushed out is just false nonsense. It's a very narrow window of politically driven views. Whether people like it or not, that's exactly what it is. Because black history, the emphasis is on the black to start with. May shock you, I'm not black, and I'm not interested. I'm Scottish Irish, with a little hint of Denmark in there. That history is nothing to do with me. Most recently is Ramadan and Eid, but I've had to do the LGBTQ nonsense. And I'm sitting looking and going, so we get all these written pieces come to us that are political agenda. And then, oh yeah, if you want to study stuff that's work related, that's fine as well. But that's not really structured too well. You've got to build that. But we'll give you this propaganda in document form. This is what's worrying me, because that's the way society is driving people now. This is senior leadership. This is your corporate world that is mopping this garbage up like no tomorrow. This is why you're seeing things like what happened to Bud Light. You're seeing it with Nike, with what they've just done with the England football team, all this stuff, trying to appease such a small group by hassling the majority. Because let's face it, if you look at what they've done to the England team's football strip, St George's flag is part of being British. Making it some weird, by whatever colours or whatever. What the hell is that got to do with England or football? I'm not even English. It bothers me because they're eroding facts. That is an England football strip for an England team. It's not about buy, it's about football. It's about the country. And everything's been eroded. Now, the thing is, these are all false. These are false things. These are delusional people that are making this thing the norms. This is worse than book burning, because they're brainwashing from children upwards. I have a massive problem with that. See, I don't mind people having their own opinions, their own thoughts, but I like things to stick with facts. You know, I send my kids to school to get educated on things that are relevant to their futures. I don't go there for them to be brainwashed. Now, don't get me wrong, schools are designed about conformity, but like I said, you've now got corporates doing it, or it's all the way through the system. And that's why I'm starting to think I need to start doing more stuff on the channel to sort of try and keep things based. You know, because part of this is going, okay, you like all this nonsense, you carry on. You want to run around and do whatever you want, that's fine. Just don't bother me with it. Don't bother my kids. And at the same time, I think it's important that we start to reinforce our own beliefs, our own history, our own positions in society. Because we sit and let people abuse us. Let's face it. They sit and see the white man as a big problem now. You know, whether it's feminists or LGBTQ, or whether it's Black Lives Matter, or whatever it is, they all seem to be focused on, oh, it's the patriarchy, it's this, it's that. The society that has existed for thousands of years it's peculiar what they're doing. I mean, it's a bit like when people say they're, like they're victimized for, being gay or whatever, and I'm going, I can't remember anywhere I would actually say I've ever done it to anybody else, and I don't know anybody that could say, yeah, that was me, something happened to me when I was young or whatever. Because a lot of the stuff I do think is in people's heads. I don't mean that in a, not a bad way, but I noticed it when I was over at Birmingham, at Millennium Point, where people create barriers between different groups, and gets back to the fear of change, or fear. A lot of people don't want to engage with each other because they don't really understand each other, or they assume different demographics, they don't like each other. People are mixed like oil and water. Yeah, when you actually engage with everybody, you find that everyone's pretty much the same. It's not a true reflection. It's what people often interpret about others that is becoming that's where the barriers are. If you start breaking those barriers down, you can start to say, look, why are more people from this demographic being employed simply because they're from that demographic? Do you realise that is going to create more problems? Because you're not getting the best of individuals. And even if they were okay at something, you're still not getting the best. I'm not being funny. If you're going under the knife for surgery, do you want somebody that is picked because of their demographic, or do you want the best surgeon you can get your hands on? It's a basic. The way they're doing it is a weird socialist piece, and I think it has got a bigger picture here. It's the same as there seems to be a big focus on people that are arriving in New York and other places en masse, and I do think that is around destabilising localised populations. I'd love to hear other people's inputs on this one, because you've got to look at it from a bigger picture piece, because a lot of this stuff is not as simple as these little changes, because it's gone through everywhere. It's the same as when COVID came out. I've never seen the globe have so many countries pulled together in the same direction for anything else except for war. We're in a strange world. So that's what I'm thinking of revitalising the channel around, sort of trying to discuss this pieces. But it's not about the negative stuff. That's the problem where you've got a lot of stuff at the moment. The liberal stuff is all hate, hate, hate. I haven't seen anything positive about it. It's only positive if it suits them. That's fascism. But on the right side, you've got people that are sort of throwing stones over the other side as well. And I get where they're coming from with a lot of this stuff. But it's often not about constructive solutions. It's about complaining about what the others are doing. That's down the route of politicians. You're wasting your time, because that's not a solution. See, you look at politicians, crap on both sides, and they throw mud at each other about, oh, look at their expenses, oh, look at the sexual scandal or whatever. They don't focus on what they're actually paid for, which is their jobs. They focus on mudslinging, and that's the bit we need to keep away from. We need to find solutions to this stuff that actually works. And that gets back to the personal development piece. That gets back to being based. It's being able to see the bigger picture and step aside from it without getting dragged into the mediocre mess that is occurring. Because for me, I can see it bubbling up to the top. because eventually you prod too far. History always dictates it does that. Goes from one extreme to the other. Always has done. And I do think a lot of these people are not doing it for the benefit of anybody at our level in life. I think a lot of it is to create a elite class where there's a degree of separation that they can use and abuse everything else to pull people down to control them. We're in a very, very strange environment. Oh, there we go. First car being towed for the morning. Market day. As long as it's not my car today, guys. I got towed last week. So I'm just making sure he's going around the corner. My car wasn't attached behind him. But anyway, guys, yeah, I thought I'd bring this up because it's very hard to work through it in a positive way. That's why I've tried not to do any videos, because I start getting a bit frustrated with it. But I do think we need to sort of think out the box, because a lot of this stuff is very manipulative. It's why things like the TikTok and things are existing, where this positive, keep everything positive, keep everything this. That's not a good way to work either. See, the personal development thing for me is about people keeping based and moving forward, not getting bogged down with what's wrong in life. That's, for me, that's important. But a lot of the stuff is like superficial, you'll see. The same as when people say, you know, develop, work harder, do this. No. Because when you work harder, you're just eroding your time. What you want to be working for is stuff that's actually beneficial to you, like getting the house in Spain, which is where I want to be. So I get to a point where I start taking work back and it's freeing up my time to do stuff that I want to do before I fill a hole in the ground. And part of that is actually being able to push this stuff out. This crap is eroding society, but this crap is also eroding your time. So it's not getting bogged down in the politics going like backwards and forwards, people. It's the bit in the middle. How do you cut through this crap? How do you keep out of it? Because unless you're actually going to run for government, which, as you can see, even if you were severely politically motivated, you would struggle to make a massive change now, because the media all seems bought and paid for. The agenda seems to be spread across the West. So it's not one country, it seems collaborative. So it's leaked through the education system since probably the 60s. That's why you see people like Jordan Peterson sort of jump to fame as he started to push against it. But we are in a particularly peculiar environment, and my biggest concern is not myself, it's my kids. And that's the other thing I see. Not too much my son, but his actual friends, because they seem to be lacking direction somewhere. I mean, I've got to admit, my son was sort of moving a bit peculiarly at one time, because, you know, I wasn't at home often enough, but I'm home a lot more now. He's, you know, got structure with piano lessons, karate, spent a lot more time with me, got him more based and focused. But some of his friends get in trouble and stuff because they need direction. Let's face it, what role models have you got today? You know, what are kids looking up to? Some crap on TikTok? They need more than that. They need more to drive them forward. They need more to filter the garbage out. And that's what the channels need to move to, is to be focused on helping the next generations, drive through the middle of this garbage. Because I'm not running for government, and I refuse. I just can't. There's a statement around that, I'm not sure who said it, about those that are in government shouldn't be, and those that don't want to be should be. Well, more to that effect. But that's the true reality. Because as soon as you're wanting to be in government, you're becoming self-serving. That's my opinion, by the way. Anyway, guys, that's enough for today. It's 20 minutes. Love to hear your feedback. Please comment below. Shall we get the channel up and running again, or shall I just leave it parked? These problems ain't going to go away. We're in a very peculiar environment where we're dictated to by minorities that have leaked into so many parts of society in a negative way. We're in a strange space. I don't see this coming to a positive head. I can see there being massive problems not in the near future, probably in the next 10 years. But who knows? You know, we start putting people that aren't really good pilots and stuff in just because they fit a box. Maybe we'll get there a lot quicker, unfortunately. That's what's worrying me. I just had a thing in the UK with the NHS and Nigerian medical staff where their CVs now have been fake and the qualifications fake. And I go, why are you surprised? I'm not being funny. NW1, I'm not going, oh, there goes a car. NW1 is famous for credit card fraud, and 3/4 of the credit card fraud in the UK used to be done there, and it's famous for a certain demographic. You see things like phone jacker and his bit on I'm calling about your bank account. Certain demographic. We know all this stuff has stereotypes. Stereotypes are bred from reality because it needs to have something happen to trigger that reality. So when people say they hate demographics, I always say to them, well, stop being it. That's my political view. You know, I'm Scottish, so I must be a violent alcoholic. You know, that's the demographic. But the answer is, if you don't like people assuming you're that way, don't be that way. It's as simple as that. Don't say, well, they must be racist, whatever, because they use that demographic. I'm not happy with it. And then do exactly what people expect. That's one for the road. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I know it's a bit more political today, but the fact is I've been trying not to get political, but I think we may have to discuss these things in more detail. Maybe get the podcast going. I bought a new cable for the mic as well, and I've got another mic. I've got DJI plug-in mic as well. Yeah, Bluetooth mic as well. So we can have some proper discussions if we want. Or maybe people go, nah, I'm not interested. That's what I thought. Put it out there. Thanks for watching.